Hey, so I'm going to record a couple of the answers to these questions for the Dream XR conference. So the first question is, am I more VR, AR, or MR? I would say, as you can tell, I'm more VR based. I love the idea of taking somebody from one place to another by putting on a virtual reality headset. But I see the practicalities of AR. Picture just in New York, being able to take your Metro card and see where you'd need to get off to connect with the A train through a augmented map that's image tracked on your Metro card. All of these mediums though are connected though, so it's really cool to actually be inspired by AR in a couple of projects for VR, or seeing what MR is doing with enhancing trailers for VR. So these connections actually help each and every one of these mediums, which is really cool. All right, so I'm going to answer another question. Let's see. What would a VR conference look like? I think a VR conference should actually feel a little bit different from a traditional conference. We shouldn't be limited to like the kind of archaic ideas of what a conference should be, and create what a conference can be. Picture booths actually truly showing what people want to kind of show. Picture actually getting people into your experience through the booth, because you've actually designed the booth based off of like one of like the levels that you've created in your experience. And granted, this is something that a lot of companies have done in the past for booths like in PAX or GDC, but it's always been these really big companies doing these things. This is actually going to give newer, more indie creators or newer startups the ability to kind of like really show what what their piece of hardware software is all about in a truly unique way. So that's really cool. Also picture like just bringing in level designers to make like conferences more engaging. We're not limited by the space of like the Boston Convention Center anymore. We can actually create spaces that truly flow people in and generate connections the way that we have actually wanted these conferences to feel like. So that's what a VR conference really should look like, in my opinion. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question. What do I get out of, well, I'll answer another one. This is easy. What do I get out of a convention? It's usually connections. That's the most important thing to me. Being on the East Coast in New York, it's really hard to kind of like get connected with people who are doing like really cool game stuff. Granted, like we have a lot of really cool creators here in New York, but in California, there's just a bit more of like a more open air of collaboration, and it's really cool to kind of get all of those connections from like around the world through through a convention like GDC. That's that question. Oh, what can a virtual conference give? A virtual conference can allow more people to actually experience all of the benefits of a conference. I have been working on video games since I was like 2014, when I first started learning Unity and trying to make my first little dinky video game. But I was like never able to go to PAX until like we our game Don't Look Away was downloaded over 250,000 times. So it like me and like the team actually were really lucky to actually be bundled into that success and have the ability to go to PAX and stuff like that through like the hard work that we've we've done, but for every one of us, there's thousands of others that made really cool games that weren't able to go to PAX because they weren't released at the right time, or like they didn't gain the traction that we had. So like the ability to actually have a virtual conference will open like all of those people up to actually be able to go to these conferences as well, which is incredibly important if you want more diverse games, like more open connections, and just kind of like uh, democratize creation, because there's it's always the same people in the room because it's the same people that can't afford to be in the room.